rounds. This in the featherweight division. Making his way to the cage first from Long Beach, Vince Ortiz.
Vince Sergeant Ortiz. Member of the military. Sergeant wasn't just a cute nickname he gave himself. 8-8 as a professional at the Body Shop in Tony McKee's gym.
That's important to point out, by the way.
In Long Beach, California. You've seen him here at Bamma USA multiple times. It's a featherweight contest, 145 pounds.
Yeah, Sergeant Vince Ortiz, two things you should know. One, he served his country. If you have a hat or you can own one, tip it, take it off. That is a huge thing to do. That is something not everyone is willing to do, and he definitely should be commended for that. That said, if you're a fight fan, you see Antonio McKee there taking care of the eyebrow grease, getting them all ready to go. Vince Ortiz is a guy who every time he fights, I've seen him win dynamically, I've seen him lose. He's never, ever unprepared. He never decides to quit in the middle of a fight. He either wins or you've got to stop him.
He's a soldier in every sense of the word.
And I admire a guy like that because he's in the right business. There he is, Sergeant Vince Ortiz.
The red corner from Barstow, Chris Culley.
And here he is. This is the guy that I've had the pleasure of watching his career for a while. The urban legend, Chris Culley. This is a guy who's got an evolving ground game, but his stand-up is lethal.
And a very active fighter. He's a young fighter. He's already 13 and 15, 28 fights as a professional. Chris Culley.
And it's interesting because Ortiz is comfortable on the ground. He'll stand in the pocket and bang with you if you let him. And Culley will let him. Because if you let Culley in the pocket, it's to be watching a Major League Baseball home run derby.
And that's one of those things about fighters like Ortiz who are so willing to go for broke and kind of engage in his opponent's game plan. It makes for fun fights, but oftentimes, if you obviously playing to your opponent's strength, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So it's a weird balance that you got to play as a fighter. You want to keep things exciting, you want to keep things action-paced, but you also want to execute your own game plan, not let your opponent dictate the pace. So we'll see what he does here with Culley. If Ortiz will go for the takedown, try to take Culley out of where he's comfortable.
Culley out of bullet hole Muay Thai and, we heard it before, Millennia MMA. And there's the tail of the tape. Height almost the same, both tall for 145-pound fighters. Records comparable as well, both looking to get more into the win column. Both local fighters, Long Beach and Barstow, California. They're not unfamiliar with each other.
Introducing you first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 10 inches tall. His professional record is even with 8 victories and 8 defeats. Fighting out of Long Beach, California, here is Sergeant Vince Ortiz. His opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, a Muay Thai and kickboxer. At 5 feet 10 inches tall, his record stands 15 victories, 10 defeats. He hails from Barstow, California. He is the urban legend, Chris Culley. Referee in charge, Mel Beltran.
All right, gentlemen, first round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Handle, let's go.
When Mike Beltran says you're ready to fight, I'm almost ready to go, yeah! Even though I'm really not that ready. First round of action scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Sergeant Ortiz in the camo with the military stripes. Looks like a camo pattern on his trunks. And in the dark trunks with the shiny letters, that's Chris Culley. Ortiz already engaging Culley in what Culley loves to do, and that's a striking battle.
Culley the southpaw with the right foot forward.
They call it karate and kickboxing background, and if he gets a chance to open up that arsenal, you're going to see why he's an entertaining fighter. But Ortiz is going to make him a little cautious because he's a very game opponent. He'll look for counters. He can take a shot. You're not going to get Ortiz out with one glancing blow. There's a kick, low kick from Culley. Tight guard from Culley. Ortiz a little bit more loose.
Culley slowly kind of plodding forward. Ortiz is moving a little bit more.
Head kick by Culley. That's part of his bread and butter. And again, these guys have faced off before, and Ortiz knows what he's in for.
The lead right hook of Culley is really fast. Ortiz can keep that left hand up.
Good counter shot by Ortiz. He's engaging now, telling Culley to come on. And again, this is somewhat of a little bit of a grudge match from what I understand. Ortiz baiting him in, saying, come in, come in. Careful what you wish for. Kick to the midsection by Culley, caught by Ortiz. Culley recovers balance.
High single leg here for Ortiz up against the cage.
Working for the takedown is Ortiz. Culley got good takedown defense as well, too. And when you're that good of a striker, you need to.
It's something you got to develop or enjoy all your time on your back.
Yeah, exactly. You hear the corner calling, I believe it's Culley's corner telling him he's been there a million times just to relax, and he has. Again, when you're that superb a striker, you train at a camp like Millennia MMA, there's no way that this is catching you off guard. You're familiar with this, you deal with this all the time.
You gotta work, guys, let's go, work. Gotta work, I'm gonna separate you. Stop, separate, let's go.
And Beltran stops it. Stalemate up against the cage, and we're back to the center.
That's why he's one of the best refs in the business right there. Beltran knows exactly when and when not to insert himself into the action. Head kick again by Culley. Ortiz circling away from that power.
Culley's going high and low with the kicks. We've seen leg kick. Oh, and a great combination by Ortiz. A lot of those shots finding their mark on Culley. Culley responding.
RJ, when it's somebody's strong suit, even though Ortiz is a great striker, it's Culley's bread and butter. How much pride and emotional investment could Ortiz have in trying to beat him with that?
It could be a pride thing, or it can simply be, hey, Culley, he's trying to make him pay attention to his striking, which will open up the takedowns if that's what he wants. Or you know, Culley isn't invincible as a striker. I mean, Ortiz is confident in that he can knock out Culley in a striking match. So, you know, engaging Culley at his strengths opens things up. And you may have a point here. Maybe it can get Culley kind of thinking. Because every time Ortiz has landed anything decent on Culley, Culley's come back more aggressive, and maybe that's what Ortiz wants to do. Get him to respond aggressively, get that takedown, or have him open up a hole.
Right, open up. And you see Ortiz has been looking at countering a lot. He's countered a little bit effectively already.
Quick jab by Culley.
See, I like when Culley does that. I like when he jabs off and then circles away. And he's still, even when he's circling away after that jab, he's still set up for a counter or a follow-up shot. Oh, low blow.
I was in the middle of this thing earlier. Culley's doing a good job of mixing his kicks. We've seen leg kicks, body kicks, and head kicks. Now we've seen, you know, 3/4 low kick right there in the twig and berries.
Twig and berries. I was waiting for you to say it. Ortiz is in pain.
Obvious pain. That was a clean shot to the groin.
Obviously unintentional. Doesn't benefit Culley or Ortiz for that to happen, of course. He'll get up to 5 minutes, Ortiz. RJ, there's always that fine line when it happens, when you shouldn't wait the 5 minutes, if you have a momentum going, and when you actually should.
Yeah, and it's obviously any opportunity a fighter has to take advantage of the gray areas and rules they're going to, but when you get kicked in the balls like that, all you're thinking is make this pain go away. I don't care about anything else. I mean, we can put people on the moon, we can send emails from one side of the planet to the other, but we can't come up with a decent cup to protect the groins of fighters. If someone can come up with a perfect cup, they're going to be a millionaire.
Feels like a commercial for Inventors Hotline right there.
I'm telling you, you cannot put a price on a perfect cup. I pay good money for a good mouthpiece. Cup's the same way.
I mentioned earlier when I talked about Ortiz that something he's incapable of is quitting. You can bet the second that he's clear and he feels like he can actually continue to fight at the level he's been, even if it's less than 5 minutes, he's going to step up. This fight, crucial for both guys trying to get more into the win column. And as a fan of mixed martial arts, and I like both guys, I almost don't care who wins in that aspect, because the fact that these two are willing to face each other is a win for us. It's not an easy fight for either guy. The fact that they're willing to do it says volumes about both of them and the heart that they bring into the cage.
Especially now that Ortiz has to deal with his nuts up in his lower intestine.
Keep it clean.
Like Beltran caution to keep it clean.
Ready, fight, let's go.
All right, round one resumes. Vince Ortiz versus Chris Culley.
Yeah, this is still round one, isn't it? But breaking the action sometimes makes you forget and you feel like you're deeper into the fight. I love the matchup so far. And you know, you see Culley's southpaw, by the way. Ortiz knows what's the right thing to do. He's using that lead right hand a lot.
He's countering the jab of Culley with a straight right, but Culley's starting to mix things up a little bit more now. Double underhooks now for Culley up against the cage. Leg trip. Takedown by the Muay Thai fighter. See what Ortiz does in the guard. Culley in the guard of Ortiz.
It's an open guard, so now he's closing up a little bit there, but not a tight guard.
10 seconds.
Good strategy by Culley. The striking was kind of close, back and forth. Culley says, all right, let me get a takedown.
Head kick by
Head
Culley.
Head
Way
kick to end the round. Good game plan by Culley. Get that takedown at the end of the round, sway the judges in your favor. When rounds are close, oftentimes all it takes is a takedown to swing things in your favor, because a lot of times with striking, it's hard to tell as a judge, who got the better of that exchange, who won the exchanges earlier, what counts more, a leg kick or a punch, or two jabs or a right straight, or all this. A very easy quantitative thing that a judge can look at is a takedown. It's very easy to tell a takedown. And so those are things that stick in the judges' minds.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. That was a smart move on what was probably a disjointed round as well with the break in the action. A good move by Culley, I think, to do that. Again, the sport less than 20 years old, give or take, veiled in the negative halo of brutality that it began with. But this is a thinking man's sport. And these two guys are not just fighters, these are thinking athletes. And believe me, if either one of them wasn't capable of doing that, they would be getting beaten badly by the other right now.
Second round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Handle, let's go.
Second round of action. Culley in the black with silver. The black with the military stripes, 3 stripes on the legs. In the yellow, that Sergeant Vince Ortiz. Culley's nicknamed the Urban Legend. And Culley just kind of following him around. Ortiz now circling.
Yeah, Culley the more plodding fighter.
That probably has something to do with the fact that he likes right there. He's got a lot of powerful strikes, and I think he likes to have his feet on the ground to throw those at any moment.
Ortiz caught the body kick. He's up in a single leg position now. Culley doing a good job of defending. He's got the wizard. He's got a shin across the hip of Ortiz. Tough to finish here for Ortiz. He's got a couple options, though. He can pull the heel out, raise the leg up. You can run the pipe, what's called, if you drag the leg across.
Again, great takedown defense by Culley. He's not a stranger to having to deal with that millennia. And Ortiz coming out of the body shop, working with guys with the wrestling skills of Antonio McKee. You can bet he's been on both ends of the takedown more than once.
People think Antonio McKee is just a strong guy that holds people down in the guard, but he is that, but he's also got fantastic technique at holding people down. It's not easy to hold down a fighter who doesn't want to be on his back.
No, yeah, McKee is a technician.
And Body Shop has that. At least if there's anything Body Shop knows how to do well, it's take down and hold guys down and not let them get up.
Needed the bread basket by Culley and followed by a couple of jabs, and he moved off after he threw him. become a little bit more elusive for Ortiz to find him now with counter shots. Nice left by Culley. Combination punching now by Culley, starting to open up the arsenal a little bit more.
And we're starting to see the range of Culley here. Kicks and straight punches, keeping Ortiz on the outside.
Culley probably a little bit speedier with his hands and his feet. But Ortiz has good speed too, and he's been able to counter effectively a little bit. So Culley obviously playing the game cautiously. You don't want to bank on getting Ortiz out with one shot, so you want to be able to get a few of them off and be careful about it. Second round scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. You're watching Bamma USA Badbeat 6. We're at the Commerce Casino, Commerce, California.
Ortiz struggling with the range of Culley. I mean, he's only been able to respond by kind of rushing forward with punches. And by then, Culley's already circled out.
Yeah, that's what I love about Culley's attack, and he's been doing that a lot. Here it is, a jab, and he moves. Great stick and move style. And Ortiz he's charging in to close the distance to try to find the target before it's gone.
And Ortiz comes in with a flurry. Going in for another high single leg attempt. Culley defending well with that wizard, shin across the hip. Standard issue defense for a high single.
An interesting variety of action between these two. And this is some blood on Ortiz. I think it's coming from the nose of Culley. And those shoulders might be why. I don't imagine Ortiz is bleeding off of his own back. Those are coming from Culley's nose, I think. Those streaks of blood.
Good body lock here for Ortiz. He should be able to turn this into a takedown.
Now delivering knees to the outside is Ortiz.
I like to see Ortiz mixing some strikes with his clinch position. Like, you can try with that knee, maybe use that right hand, throw an elbow or some uppercuts, and that'll open up the defense of Culley.
Knee now countered by Culley.
Of course, it's so easy to say that sitting here in the booth, but there's some openings there.
Clearly there's mutual respect. These guys know what the other one is capable of doing. Now Culley, I think, is going to start opening up a little bit more like that.
Culley's starting to diversify a little bit. Oh, right straight lands by Ortiz.
I like Ortiz's counter capabilities. A little wild there with that shot. Charging in like the Matador and Bull scenario. Not the best thing to do with a guy like Culley.
Great round for Culley. Really picking apart Ortiz for the bulk of that 5 minutes. Mixing up the kicks, throwing some knees, straight punches, keeping Ortiz at range. The only time Ortiz did get some licks in of his own, but he had to kind of come in wildly with flurries to beat the range of Culley.
And it's interesting, too, because that style of Culley is very difficult to deal with. And that was an age-old thing throughout an 11 or 12-year career of Roy Jones Jr. in boxing, where people said at some point, you can't let him keep circling away and picking his shots. You got to just throw caution to win and go at him, pressure him, go at him. And you see Ortiz doing that with a level of success here because he kind of has to. If he follows Culley around, he'll get picked apart from angles all night.
And he needs to take advantage of his clinch positions. He's in some singles and some clinch positions. He needs to take advantage of those. I mean, he's working so hard to get inside Culley's range, turn it into damage, turn it into takedowns.
And that goes back to what I said before about Ortiz, too. He's a fighter. He's not, if you're going to make him stay on the outside circle away from him the whole night, he's not going to allow that. He's going to find a way, even if he has to charge in, because that's what he's here to do. Third final round. Culley in the black with shiny silver. Ortiz in the multicolored with the yellow military stripe.
Another good knee by Culley. That left knee, that left body knee thrown by Culley is really finding its mark.
Ortiz telling him to come on. Culley now shuffling and circling.
Hook slam by Ortiz. Now they're jawing at each other. I don't know what they're saying.
It's bravado
But it's
round.
loud.
Hey, we're in the biggest poker room in the world. Are these guys bluffing?
Spinning back kick by Culley.
Are they bluffing or are they serious? They're both all in, I know that. Ortiz has enough of this circling stuff. He's calling Culley out, and Culley says, all right, here I am.
Front headlock here by Ortiz. Goes for maybe a guillotine or some sort of choke.
Looked like he was looking for a front choke. Not going to get it.
Culley in a single leg. Ortiz going for a Kimura now. He's got, he turns into a sweep. We've seen it before. He's still got that. Oh, he let go of the Kimura. Back into a scramble, into the clinch.
Culley back to his feet. Ortiz pressing him up against the cage. It's the last round of action. You've got to imagine this round counts as much as the others. Once again, I think the matchmaking being more than validated here with these two guys facing off. Close battle.
Let's go, guys. Work. I'm going to suffer until you touch. Let's work.
Culley looking to make some space.
Improve your positions. I'm going to separate you. Let's work.
Carol Fick from Mike Beltran. Knows what he's doing.
Another single leg attempt by Ortiz. He needs to start moving it around. Want to move Culley, get his balance off, pull him off of the cage. And he gives it up again. Left knee by Culley, left hook by Ortiz.
I would like to see these guys finish this round and this fight slugging it out in the pocket because they're both capable and willing.
That's 4 jabs by Culley that have found their mark. Left straight.
Inside kick by Culley.
Yes, he's mixing it up. We've seen a jab, left straight, leg kick with one leg kick with the other leg.
Scoring those shots more important than wearing down Ortiz with damage for the long haul because we're in the last round. Knee by
again.
Culley. That might have done some damage.
Ortiz quickly turns that into a takedown attempt. But again, keeps going for that takedown and it keeps running dry for him.
Let's work.
Yeah, let's go, bro. Don't leave it to the judges.
I don't care what job you have. If Mike Beltran was at your desk yelling, you got to work, let's get to work, you're going to do some production.
It's like the Office linebacker, those old commercials back in the day.
Indeed, it would be effective. I'm just saying. Final round of action.
Really deep body lock here by Ortiz. This needs to be a takedown. And he pulled him right into him.
Culley's looking to
We
get
got
the
Culley
mount,
on
and
top.
now looking for the choke. He's got a hook, and Ortiz might have sealed his own fate. Culley looking for the rear naked choke.
That might, I think it's
Could it
under the
happen?
That might be it.
Could it
Rear
happen?
naked choke attempt.
Ortiz does
taps.
not place. He does.
And our first submission of the night goes to Culley.
Chris Culley, the urban striking legend. I got 2 words for you. Well, 1 word and an acronym. Millennia MMA. He deals with that all the time. Here's a guy who comes in, he's known as a striker, and look at the rounded game he now brings into the cage.
Ortiz finally got that deep body lock he was looking for against the cage. He finally got himself into a good position to go for a takedown, and he just didn't execute it properly. He pulled Culley on top of him, and that was the beginning of the end. Culley putting in the hook, sinking in the choke. He was ahead on the scorecards, on my scorecards at least, and he put an exclamation point on it with the submission.
Exciting battle by 2 really good fighters.
Not to leave it to the judges. Shirt?
And again, that's what happens when you get somebody from the body shop and somebody from Millennia.
Antonio!
You let them square off for 3 rounds of action. You see Culley showing sportsmanship there towards Antonio McKee.
Hey, it's cool. It's done.
A little bit of jarring going on between the camps here. I can't tell exactly what's going on.
Looks like Culley went over and congratulated. He said something to McKee.
It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. Get your hand raised and it's time to knock that out. All right? Not having that stuff here. All right?
Beltran warning him. That's his cage right there. You don't screw around when Beltran's in there.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Really not.
4 minutes, 15 seconds, round number 3. Submission by rear naked choke. Your winner from B-Town, the urban legend, Chris Culley.
Hey, guys. Antonio, it's good, baby.
Here's Ron the Yak Man Yakaveni with your winner,
Thank you, coach.
Chris Culley.